CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
A dangerous driver who crashed and tried to flee the scene after nearly hitting one woman and a couple of police officers over the weekend is still in custody tonight. The driver was in the hospital yesterday, turned over to police today. 2 warrants were served, one for a search of the vehicle and one for a blood sample. Police say 28-year-old Jared Lee Murphy faces charges including mischief to property, impaired driving by drug, resisting arrest, and possession of cocaine. Sunday, Murphy police say nearly struck a woman unloading groceries in her driveway in Saanich. Police say he then drove directly at a police patrol car, causing the cruiser to drive into the ditch to avoid a collision.
At no point in time did our officers ever engage in a pursuit until the very final moments when this vehicle was cornered into a very small area in the Kenneth and Glamford area in Saanich. Once he'd been contained into a sort of a confined area, then our officers closed in and blocked exits and prevented his escape.
The property damage in the case was significant. 2 fences, a shed, and a number of lawns torn up. The driver, police say, did try to run away into a wooded area but was stopped by a police canine unit. Now, the Grand Chief of the Assembly of First Nations says the situation in Attawapiskat is an opportunity for change at reserves across the country. Sean Atleo says it is time to move forward and to give First Nations greater control over their own affairs.
What we support is First Nations being supported and empowered to carry out the responsibilities of self-government that they have every right to carry out. We support transparency. We support accountability. And what we don't support, what must end, is the externally imposed unilateral decisions on the part of government.
Atleo says Attawapiskat is not an isolated case, and he's hoping the meeting with the Prime Minister in January will lead to positive change for all First Nations rather than just an extension of the status quo. Also today, the chief of the Attawapiskat First Nation said that she is angry that the government sent in a third party to manage her community. She says her people are in crisis and need immediately help. Yesterday, the remote northern community evicted the government appointee. The new top cop at the RCMP says he promises to take harassment and corruption within the force as a priority. Commissioner Bob Paulson is taking over the job as the RCMP suffers from some serious image problems. In an interview with the Canadian Press, the new commissioner says he will take immediate action.
The provisions of the RCMP Act and my powers as commissioner to direct and create policies that would have that dark-hearted behavior, lying, cheating, stealing, purposeful, intentional, excessive use of force, then we're going to fire people. We're going to suspend people immediately. We're going to seek their dismissal through a formal process, and we're going to suspend their pay.
A former RCMP officer now living on Vancouver Island who says she was sexually harassed on the job is happy to hear the commissioner's goals. Since coming forward with her claim, many others have followed in her footsteps.
I think the commissioner is on the right track. I think a strong leadership message that needs to come out is that we will not tolerate harassment, that it'll be swiftly dealt with and in a timely fashion. I would hope that the commissioner is going to respond to those people that have felt safe enough to come forward and address their concerns in a sensitive manner.
Krista Carley says more people will come forward if they feel it is safe to do so, and she hopes the new commissioner sticks to his plan. Students up and down Vancouver Island were invited to help spread a little Christmas cheer today at Government House. 8 grade 3 classes were at the Government House annual Children's Christmas tree decorating party. The students were helping to decorate the ballroom by adding their homemade decorations to the trees and to Lieutenant Governor Stephen Point's office. The kids also had the opportunity to sing the LG a few Christmas carols. He wants to remind children what real Christmas spirit's all about.
Talked to the children again this year and reminded them that the true spirit of Christmas is really the spirit of giving and sharing one with another, and that when you do that, you get something back. You get something called peace and this joy that comes from giving.
If you'd like to see the kids' decorations and the trees for yourself, you can take a good look on January 1st during the annual New Year's Day levee at Government House. The search for a missing man on northern Vancouver Island has come to a tragic end. Searchers have found the body of 81-year-old William Fisher Sr. He was in his vehicle along Highway 30 southwest of Port Hardy. He disappeared on Thursday driving home from a doctor's appointment in Campbell River. It appears that Fisher's car left the road and crashed down an embankment. It's not clear if he was killed instantly or died in the wreckage waiting for help to arrive.
A citizen was driving by and located the vehicle. Apparently it was approximately 50 feet into the bush and approximately 10 feet down in the embankment. We had no reason to believe at this point why he would have went to Port Alice. We had, believed that he was heading up to Port Hardy.
Fisher was found after a 4-day search by volunteers, the RCMP, and members of his family. The trial of Clare Becker has resumed in Nanaimo today with testimony from an expert witness who says Becker's vehicle design and the road conditions may be the blame for the crash that killed her 2 sons in 2008. Beckers is on trial charged with dangerous and impaired driving causing death and causing bodily harm. Her 2 daughters were injured in the crash. Several other vehicles were involved and her 2 little boys were killed. She lost control on an icy stretch of road at Cassidy, south of Nanaimo, just before Christmas 2008, smashed into oncoming traffic. The Crown says she was impaired by drugs and alcohol. The defense claims weather conditions and the design of her vehicle were to blame.
The sun going down, this being behind a cliff face, this being near or between 2 rivers, which would cause the temperature to be slightly lower than the surrounding temperature. The fact that from the evidence that Miss Beckers had a front-wheel drive vehicle and had just tried or started to change lanes on a cambered or sloped portion of the highway, which would cause the vehicle perhaps to slip slightly in one of the front wheels of the front-wheel drive, grabbing onto the road surface and pushing her into the oncoming lanes.
Closing arguments are expected to be heard tomorrow. There's no indication when there may be a verdict in the case. Doctors at Nanaimo Regional General Hospital are gaining some ground in their battle with the Vancouver Island Health Authority over adult patients being put into the children's ward. The doctors launched an online petition last week, and already they have hundreds of people who've signed it. The petition demands the health authority find a way to deal with overcrowding at NRGH that doesn't include putting adults in the pediatric ward.
The overcapacity situation at the hospital is a very chronic situation. It's going to get worse. We've got a growing elderly population, and we really sympathize with the elderly of this community. We don't agree with them being cared for on stretchers in the emergency department. But placing adults onto the pediatric unit does nothing to address the overcapacity issue at the hospital, and it compromises the care of children.
All 5 pediatricians in Nanaimo are working together on the campaign, and they are lobbying for your support, not just signing the petition, but writing letters and contacting people with the power to change the situation.
We hope that by speaking out, which was a big step for us to take, and it was out of extreme frustration that we did so. By speaking out, we're really hoping that the public will stand behind us, sign our petition, contact their MLA, contact the administration, and say that they won't tolerate this anymore.
To find out more about the Pediatricians campaign, visit the website at drpeg.ca. RCMP and Nanaimo are looking for some new recruits to help out with the city's Block Watch program. The program has been proven to reduce crime in neighborhoods where it operates, and the Mounties want to expand it. They are hosting an information session in Cedar tomorrow night in the hope of establishing a Block Watch program in that neighborhood.
I'll be on hand with a number of their Block Watch captains. We'll have a presentation on how you set up a Block Watch, how it can assist your community, and the benefits of having one. Hopefully we'll have a number of people. There will be refreshments afterwards. We'll answer any questions you may have.
RCMP say crime typically drops by 50% in communities where there's a Block Watch program established. The information session is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at the Cedar Heritage Hall. Well, they rolled in the heavy machinery into Diana Krall Plaza in downtown Nanaimo this afternoon, and they did it on a Christmas mission. Took a crane to lift the big Christmas tree up onto the roof of our CTV studios in Diana Krall Plaza on Commercial. The tree was a gift to the city from Ted Barsby, well-known local citizen and son of former Mayor John Barsby. Ted Barsby died last year, but his legacy lives on and lights up every Christmas. The Downtown Nanaimo Business Association puts the tree on display for everybody to enjoy.
It's still a public plaza, and we want people to enjoy it. I think if you come down Commercial Street and into the Old City Quarter and all the areas of downtown, you'll see how the lights have changed Nanaimo, and this is just one of the other programs that we want to put in place to beautify downtown Nanaimo.
The Nanaimo's Business Improvement Association sponsors a number of Christmas events and displays as a way to encourage people to come downtown. Well, it isn't the usual kind of roofing job at VIU going on right now. A green roof is being installed on the Aboriginal Gathering Place at Vancouver Island University, one that'll regulate the temperature of the building and collect and filter rainwater. The roof will also contribute to the university's core purpose, education. A researcher at VIU will monitor the roof to see how much carbon it absorbs from the environment. The university says that carbon emissions from a building can be offset by a green roof, but there's really no hard data to prove how much of the offset can be achieved. The roof of the Gathering Place will help the university to find out, studying and documenting the effect.
Green roofs have been measured and researched on a lot of aspects, but their carbon absorption is not one of them. And so his numbers will go to creating that research and the foundation for giving more validity to why green roofs are a good thing.
The green roof costs about $25,000. The bill is being paid by the Students' Society, which has committed significant time and energy to the VIU campus to make it more environmentally friendly.
We've worked with the university to coordinate a banning of bottled water, but we're also putting money towards upgrading the public water infrastructure on campus to make sure that public water is accessible on campus. We also just finished building a bike shelter. This, in a sense, is the third project. So continually over the last several years, we've recognized that as one of the key goals that students have.
The research to link green roofs and carbon offsets has never been done formally before. The project at VIU is the first of its kind.